So just before we get into grid areas, which I think we'll do quite shortly, we are right now looking at these two, and I think grid areas down here is 19. Yeah. I want to walk over an important part of CSS Grid. Up until now, you've seen a lot of practices where I'm using something to show how it works. But maybe at times you don't understand really the purpose of why you do it. How could I use this in my project or something like that? But this 17 actually is proving very useful. So, uh, well, let's look at what's going on. You see, whenever there is space available, it actually allows for more things to be on the same row. It's extremely responsive in a very good way. And I think you agree with me that I didn't have to write a lot of code for making this happen. I'm actually saying that 1, 2, 3, and 4 are not right now. There's actually 4 columns. There's 3 columns. There's 2 columns. There's 1 column. And the only code I wrote was this. This is famous. This is actually a famous thing that many people use. This is extremely oftenly used. So these two, I don't have to introduce them right now. I'm jumping over them. So grid template columns. I don't have to introduce what it is either. Either it's just a template for the columns. How many columns there are to be, and then autofill. I think we talked about it earlier on, didn't we do that in the very beginning when I walked over here? I said autofill there, but with that said, I think there's like a good reason for revisiting of that. Autofill, it's going to look at the available space, and if there is available space, let something in. Let something take that space. So, for example, the very reason that something can fit to the left, or no, to the right of the one here, after a while, is because suddenly it decides there is enough space for there to be 2. Suddenly there's enough space for there to be 3, and the autofill is looking for that. But how does it know what enough space is? So right now it's just looking for when it's enough space. And what does it base that on? So we write that here. And this says it should at minimum be 30 rems in width. And 1FR, it states that it can become larger. So what each item in here does, and I know this is going to be confusing, but please repeat this until you understand this because it's important for you. And it's not only important for you here in the lecture, it's really important for you when you get out of the market because this is so very well or very oftenly used. So looking at this, if I have 30 rem, and then suddenly, right now, when it knows that 30 rems plus 30 rems plus the grid gap, there's enough space for all of those 30 plus 30 plus this one. When it knows that it has all of that space, it will autofill that space so it pops up like this. So it looks at this one as a minimum value, and when it knows that this one can exist next to the other one together with the gap, it will allow it to do so. And then, since I have 1FR here, it's going to be allowing all of them to stretch to take up the rest of the columns until there's an extra space for an extra 30. Then they will become smaller again and jump up and take that space. And it's just this code. It's extremely neat. And with that said, I think 17 gave you something to think about.